Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into the Leo channel. I am Sig and I'm going to be making a special contribution for the Leo channel today on the topic of scales. Now, I have played the piano for a very long time and I play a number of pieces, but one thing that I never learned how to play when I was a kid was the scales. And I found that not knowing the scales made my life extremely difficult because I didn't know if the score had a specific set of keys that I should be playing or not, and it was always trying to learn like if you wouldn't know the language. So one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video today is because I think there are people out there that could use the same knowledge and make their lives easier when they are learning a piece. And so today we're going to start with the easiest scale of all of them, and that is the C major scale. So the C major scale on the piano has a huge advantage over all of the other scales, and that is that it has no black keys. So you start the scale on C, and then you end it in C as well, and all the white keys, as you press them in order, are the scale that you are supposed to be playing. Now there are pieces like this one, Sonata by Mozart, that are in C major, and if you know that the scale is all white keys, then you know that the majority of the notes in this piece are going to be white keys, and so you don't need to worry too much about other keys other than finding areas where things would be changing a little bit. And so knowing again the scale is something that can help you a lot. And so we're going to have a super quick look at what happens when you try to learn a scale. So of course you would start with your first finger. All the fingers are numbered 1 to 5, and you would do what I tell my son is usually a bridge. So in here you would start with 1, 2, 3, and then you would cross with like a bridge onto now 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you finish with 5. So that again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so if you want to play the scale now completely, it's going to be, and there you go, that's your first scale that you should know. The next step in practicing a scale is of course to be able to play two scales. So we're just going to repeat the same process that we did for the first octave, and we're going to move it into the next octave. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we finish with the 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's listen to the whole thing. And that's a first way to learn the scale. Now, once you have practiced this for a few times so that you get used to making sure that you understand all these keys go into the scale, you should try and practicing the opposite way. So we practiced from ascending, from low to high. And now we want to practice from high to low. So high to low would start with 5. And then when we reach 1, we got a transition to a 3, then to a 4, and then to a 3. And down. Up, ascending. And down. So that's great. We've now learned how to use the right hand, and the next step would be to learn how to use the left hand. So for the left hand, it's pretty much the same process. You start with your finger that would be most comfortable, which in this case would be the pinky, and that we typically number as number 5. And then we find that we have run out of fingers, so we gotta cross over. We cross over with number 3, and that takes us to the end of the 1 octave. So this is 1 scale, 1 octave. Now if we want to continue on to the next octave, now we need to bring the next finger, which typically is going to be number 4. So we ran out of fingers, and so we're going to turn over to number 3 now. And then on the way down, we're going to do the same.
because that's what we did on the way up. Now we're starting with number 1, 4, 3, 1, and all the way to 5. So you start on the way up, crossover with 3, crossover with 4, crossover with 3, and then you're done. And then on the way down, it's cross under with 1, cross under the 4 with the 1, and then cross under the 3 with the 1, and then we finish with the 5. And now for the whole thing, and on the descending scale, and so now that you've mastered the scale with the left hand and with the right hand, it's time to put both of them together. So that's what we're going to do. And last time. Now, notice that sometimes you can make a mistake, and that's okay, we're all human. So don't be discouraged if sometimes you're making mistakes. You saw that I made 2 mistakes on the ascending scale, and that sometimes happens. But you need to practice if you want to get better at something. And you would do well to remember that we're looking here for progress, not for perfection. So progress is always important. If you practice slow and steady, you'll be able to get a hold of the scales really well, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So thank you so much again, and looking forward to seeing you on the G major scale.